Philadelphia in the 1700s was a city in motion, a place of ambition, ideas, and profound change. Once a colonial outpost, it evolved into a thriving capital shaped by trade, belief, and the growing tension between empire and independence. Today, with the help of advanced AI reconstruction, we can return to this world with extraordinary precision. By studying original 18th century maps, engravings, and paintings, these scenes are rebuilt in 3 dimensions: streets, buildings, and people restored as they likely appeared nearly 300 years ago. I can even place myself, Matt, directly inside these moments, standing where generations before us once stood, witnessing the city as early Philadelphians knew it. This is Market Street in 18th century Philadelphia, the city's most vital civic artery. Here, public life unfolded in full view. The large brick structure on the left is the city's first courthouse, a center of law, commerce, and governance in the growing colonial capital. Just beyond it, rising along 2nd Street, stands the spire of Christ Church, one of the city's earliest and most influential religious institutions. The street itself is muddy and uneven, crowded with carts, horses, and pedestrians, a reminder of urban life before paved roads. Market Street was more than a commercial district. It was where people gathered to argue, worship, trade, and quietly shape the future of the city. Now we look eastward toward Philadelphia around 1790. Seen from across the Delaware River, this hand-colored engraving captures the city at the height of its late 18th century growth. The river in the foreground was Philadelphia's lifeline, a deep, tidal waterway that connected the city directly to the Atlantic world. Its wide channel allowed ocean-going ships to reach the city's wharves, making Philadelphia one of North America's most important ports. The waterfront teems with activity, merchant ships, rivercraft, and small boats constantly moving between shore and channel. Through this river flowed timber, food, manufactured goods, and people, linking Philadelphia to Europe, the Caribbean, and the American interior. Rising above the rooftops, church spires define a skyline that signaled stability, prosperity, and confidence in the young United States. This is the house at 7th and Market Streets in the late 18th century, known then as Jacob Graff's home. In 1776, within these modest rooms, Thomas Jefferson drafted much of the Declaration of Independence. The building itself was typical of Philadelphia architecture: brick construction, symmetrical windows, and restrained Georgian design. Scenes like this remind us that some of history's most consequential ideas were born not in grand halls, but in ordinary houses lining muddy city streets, surrounded by everyday life. No vision of 18th century Philadelphia is complete without this: the Pennsylvania State House in 1776. This was the political heart of the city and one of its most important public buildings. Completed decades earlier, it served as the meeting place for colonial assemblies and congresses. Its balanced design reflected the ideals of order, reason, and civic authority that defined Philadelphia at the time. Inside these walls, delegates gathered during the summer of 1776 to debate, approve, and ultimately sign the Declaration of Independence, a decisive break from British rule. From this room, a single decision set in motion events that would permanently alter the course of world history. 11 years later, Philadelphia again became the stage for a defining moment. In 1787, delegates returned to the State House to determine how the new nation would be governed. Presiding over the Constitutional Convention was George Washington, chosen for his authority and restraint. Though he spoke rarely, his presence helped impose order on a room filled with disagreement and competing visions. Meeting behind closed doors, the delegates debated representation, federal power, and the balance between states and a central government, laying the foundations of a political system designed to endure long after the revolutionary generation had passed. This is the Philadelphia Almshouse in the late 18th century, relocated in 1767 to a newly built complex on the edge of the city. Known at the time as the House of Employment, it reflected Philadelphia's approach to poverty, labor, and public responsibility. The almshouse sheltered the poor, the sick, the elderly, and those unable to support themselves, combining care with compulsory work. Life inside was strictly regulated. Days followed rigid schedules of labor, meals, and supervision, offering little privacy and few comforts, a stark reminder of how order and discipline were enforced in early urban society. This is Front and Market Street, home to the London Coffee House. More than a place to drink coffee, it was one of the city's central hubs for business, news, and politics. Merchants, ship captains, and citizens gathered here to exchange information, negotiate deals, and conduct public auctions. The open lot beside the building extended this activity, used for the sale of goods and, at times, enslaved people, reflecting the harsh realities of Atlantic commerce in the colonial world. In places like this, Philadelphia's economic and political life unfolded openly at street level. Here stands the Old Courthouse of Philadelphia, a cornerstone of law and civic order in the growing city. Within its walls, disputes were settled, contracts recorded, and the rules of public life enforced. For countless immigrants arriving from across the Atlantic, this was where they entered the legal world of the city, registering property, debts, and obligations as they began new lives in America. Buildings like this formed the civic backbone of a city shaped as much by immigration as by ideology. And finally, this is the Stone Prison of Philadelphia in 1728, one of the city's earliest institutions of confinement and public discipline. Built of heavy masonry and set apart from residential streets, it reflected the colonial belief that order was maintained through visibility and restraint. For many, this structure marked the boundary between liberty and authority in the growing city. Once again, Philadelphia stood at the center of events that reshaped history. Like cities across the Atlantic world, its past survives in images like these, fragments of a world long gone, briefly brought back to life. Let us know in the comments what you'd like to see recreated next. Another city, a different moment in time, a historic speech, or another forgotten scene from the past. Thanks for watching.